I'm so freaking pissed.
Please don't have a bitch fit.
I'm gonna have a BF, a bitch fit. Welcome to the swamp. It's our podcast. It's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
I'm Dara.
I'm Emily.
And I forgot to look up, I was gonna look up the names of the bitches of the titular white chicks.
Oh, Tiffany.
Brittany and Tiffany?
Yeah, Brittany and Tiffany, I think.
Okay. And the cops' names are Marcus and Kevin. Okay.
Yes.
And who plays which one? I don't think it really
It doesn't.
matters.
It's all the same to me.
There's the one that goes on the dates with the reporter and the one who goes out with Terry Crews.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Yeah, exactly. But if you couldn't figure it out by now, we're covering white chicks this week.
To continue our really hyper-specific theme of disguises, drag, tomfoolery through costumage, and this is the same makeup artist who did Mrs. Doubtfire.
Really? That doesn't shock me in the slightest.
Did all the prosthetics. Which
I can see it.
I Googled it when they did the scene of them, like, applying the prosthetics. I was like, this is so Mrs. Doubtfire. And I'm like,
Literally.
I bet there's just, like, in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, there was just that one guy.
Exactly. They're like, oh, we have to call Dan up again.
He also did The Mask.
Of course.
Yeah, which, checks out. This one I think was kind of like chunky on purpose, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Which definitely added to
Which is why I loved it.
the humor.
One of the reasons I think you love it as a kid when you first watch it.
How young were you when you watched this? Because I feel like this was pretty much
12?
like a... Yeah, I'm going to say like 5th through 9th grade, like, sleepover staple.
Yeah.
Where you're like, maybe we'll sneak in an R movie, like, later in the night. But, like, the parents are okay with you watching, like White Chicks and, like, Mean Girls, like, those kind of sleepover movies. But I had never, like, fully sat down and, like, watched it. It was always just, like, in the background while we, like, fucking played Twister or some shit. I hadn't ever, like actually paid attention to it.
I surprisingly watched it a handful of times. Like, I've probably seen this movie, like 7 times in my life or something like that.
Which is probably too many.
Yeah, entirely. It's lost most of its charm, but there are still some things that make me giggle about this movie.
That's for every moment that I was, like, cringing and reeling.
It evens itself out.
2 minutes later, I was, like, giggling and kicking my feet. I'm like, why am I letting this get me? And then I'd like reset, like factory reset when they do like a wheelchair joke, and I'm like, oh my god, it is painfully 2004. But I think that critically today, a lot of the things that I found problematic with it are not the same criticisms that were being made of it in 2004.
No way.
Because I think a lot of people just didn't get that this movie is a fucking satire. It tanked at the...
Really?
Yeah, when it won...
That's so wild.
It swept the Razzies for worst movie. Yeah, of 2004.
That's crazy. Me and all my, like, friends were putting this movie on, like...
I think it had, like a dip and then a renaissance, because it came out in 2004, and I'm gonna say we were watching it probably in, like,
2010.
12-ish, times. So I think it, like, initially tanked, and then, like, the, like, cult classic, which... How much time has to pass for something to be considered a cult classic?
Great question.
Is there, like, a over-under time period on that? I'm gonna say a decade. Does it have to be, like, a resurgence?
I don't even think so. I'd say 5 years. 5 years.
Or can it even be... Yeah, I guess some time needs to have passed for the term cult classic to be used. But yeah, I guess this is now considered more of, like, a cult classic rather than... It was, like, never initially a raving success, because I think a lot of people were just kind of turned off by the, like, prominence of, like, race and, like, race as a joke, which is the fucking point, because
literally
reverse racism isn't real. You can make fun of white people. That's not, like... That's
don't be scared to do that.
Them doing caricatures of Hispanic convenience store owners at the beginning, maybe not so great. And, like, some of the jokes I think definitely didn't age well, and I kind of tried to be like, well, it was 2004, like, maybe let me, turn a blind eye to some of the, like, blatant, like, okay, they definitely just, like, weren't thinking about that. But I think, like, the premise is so funny.
Oh, it's amazing.
Black people doing whiteface is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And I wish that they had taken it a step further, and that the white chicks who they were impersonating were also played by black actors in whiteface. or like actresses. I guess they could have been women, but like black women in whiteface playing the original girls would have been even funnier. Because then it's like a caricature of a caricature of a kid.
Yeah.
And
it's just layers.
And if it could have been done like really well, where it was like almost unclockable, and then you go to Google like, who was that? Like, that would have been funny.
Yeah. Do we want to give a brief recap of what this movie is?
Yeah. So 2 FBI agents who are brothers.
No, not brothers.
They are brothers.
They're brothers?
I swear. They're brothers in real life.
Are they actually?
Yeah, they're brothers and their dad directed this movie.
No way.
Yeah, they're brothers. Twins, maybe? They're brothers and their dad directed this movie. He also directed the first 2 Scary movies, like Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2, which also satire. Like, the guy clearly has a shtick. But yeah, these are 2 of his sons. He has like 100 sons.
Dang.
He has a lot of kids. But I think they're supposed to be brothers in the movie too.
Okay.
At least.
Fair
maybe.
enough.
But I don't know. The actors are brothers. So
yeah.
They're 2 FBI agents, which they could have just made them cops.
Yeah.
There was no reason for us
just any branch of investigative, like...
Why did it have to go all the way to the top? I don't know.
That's not FBI.
But
The FBI has more important things to do than look out for... Actually, that's a lie.
Yeah. But so they're like on duty to bust a drug drop-off at a convenience store. It's like disguised as ice cream. And whatever fucking dumbass convenience store owner schedules his ice cream drop-off for realsies on the same day as his
he's getting his
drug delivery disguised as an ice cream delivery. Like, 48 hours apart, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, let's get some scheduling. Let's get the Google Calendar involved.
Please.
But they basically bust the wrong guys and, like, pull a bunch of guns on some guys who are actually just there to deliver ice cream. And then the drug dealers come in and they, like, see the kerfuffle. And they're like,
Oh, sorry, guys. My bad. Wrong store.
So they basically, like, fucked it up so bad that they get not fired, but almost, like, blacklisted from getting the good jobs, which is, like, a thing.
They were like, we're, like... pulling you down like a rank.
Like, they're gonna get put on all the jobs that nobody else wants to do. Which, impersonating convenience store workers to do drug busts already seems like kind of the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. But, they basically...
you're no Silence of the Lambs. What's it?
Clarice Starling.
Yeah.
But, so they get assigned to pick up these 2 socialites from the airport. And the FBI is involved because they believe that these 2 socialites are going to be the next victims of a kidnapping. Like, there's a series of kidnappings, and it's all these sort of, like, well-to-do young women whose fathers were all involved in this business deal that went awry with the guy who they think is the kidnapper is like doing all these kidnappings. So they're like, these 2 girls are coming into the Hamptons for the weekend, and everybody knows this, so he'll probably go for them next. So you guys have to pick them up from the airport and make sure that they get there safely. And they get in a car crash on the way because the dog falls out the window. And these 2 girls are just, like, vapid and stupid and, like, caricatures of Paris Hilton, basically.
Yeah.
And they get, like, little scratches on their face, and they're like, we can't go to the Hamptons looking like this. So in a 0 to 100 move, these 2 cops are, like, there are 1,000 ideas that could have been brainstormed in between, okay, like... we're just going to get the girls to the Hamptons with the scars on... not even scars, the scratches on their face. That's idea 1. They jumped 10 miles to... we are going to dress up...
as these girls.
We're going to call in a crew of prosthetic makeup, spray tan officials to turn us into these 2 young white women. And we're going to go to the Hamptons in their stead. They're going to stay at the hotel. They're just chill with it. They don't even know that the cops are doing this. Yeah. The cops don't even ask, like, oh, hey, like, we're gonna go for you. No. Not a word was communicated. And hilarity ensues. They go to the Hamptons dressed as these white women. They have to do all these, like, socialite things, like the auctioning off of women for dates. And they go to the club. And they go shopping. Yeah. And they do all the white girl things. And it's basically, like, the joke is constantly that they're 2 black men dressed up as white girls, and they, like, there's a group of friends who's continually, like, sort of, like, dragging them out. There's also, like, some tension between Marcus, one of the cops, and his wife. she like keeps calling and like thinking that he's cheating on her because he doesn't just tell her that he's like on an undercover mission or something. He's like, I gotta just lie to her and push her to the side and like...
And she's convinced that he's cheating on her.
Because there's like women's voices in the background. He can't just be like, I'm in the FBI. Like, don't you understand? But I'm not gonna aid in the gaslighting of Marcus's wife because she gets so fucking gaslit in this movie. Everyone is like, you're a crazy dumb bitch. Meanwhile, all of her feelings are so valid. She's like, I wish you would talk to me for 5 seconds, and he falls asleep in front of her. I'm like, you should divorce him.
Facts.
Not even because of the whole disguising hijinks, but just like well before. And also, I thought she was like supposed to be the bitchy girlfriend, but then she's literally his wife.
Yeah, they're married.
That is not okay. I guess maybe she should have seen those red flags, though. But in the climax of the movie, basically, one of them has been flirting with this reporter, both sort of in and out of drag, sort of getting to know her. And so he takes her out on a date, while the other one who got bought by Terry Crews during the, like, auction, she has to go out on this sort of, like, obligatory date with Terry Crews. And then they're in a fashion show, and the real girls show up, and the whole thing sort of collapses. And does the kidnapping ever...
They try to do the kidnapping, but at this point, like, both of the...
everyone kind of knows they're cops.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, both of the cops kind of have figured it out. They rescue the girls in the middle of, like, a very, like, brief kidnapping.
And everyone was like, oh my god, it wasn't you the whole time?
They're like, dang, we liked you so much better
when you were
playing these girls. And that's kind of the movie.
And that's it.
It's a bit of a happy ever after.
Which I like that this movie doesn't try to be sincere for nary a second.
Love it.
That's the thing that always takes me out of, like, really stupid movies like this, is when they're like, but let's do a hard-hitting lesson at the end, where maybe it's about the friends we made along the way. Like, no, this movie is just stupid jokes for an hour and 40 minutes, and that is it.
It knew its place,
It's very self-aware, I think. Which, learning that it's from the same director who did Scary Movie, Scary Movie 2, I think that, like, sheds a lot of light on...
Tracks,
Yeah, like, tonally across the board, the same.
I'll tell you what, it's Terry Crews for me. It's always Terry Crews for me, but especially, like, he was, like, especially when you watch this when you were young... Like, he's the guy that's making you giggle.
Funny. I also don't know how well it has aged of, like, his character is, like...
Only being into white...
Obviously this, like, very large black man who is, like...
Only into white women.
Objectively very clear that he is only into white women, to the point where he's calling her, like, snowflake and marshmallow, and he... But at one point he does comment, he's like, oh, that's a black girl's ass on a white girl.
Yeah, he's like, that's what I want.
Right, but I'm like, if your thing is that you only want to date, like, super white girls, then why are you, like, objectifying the things that you find not white about her? You know what I mean? I feel like that was some poor writing on their part. But, yeah, his character, like, being super...
I mean, who am I to talk about poor writing with this movie?
But him singing 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton.
Iconic.
I read on IMDb that was a one take. That he was like, I love this song, truly.
That wouldn't shock me in the slightest.
Love.
Terry Crews is just one of those guys I would love to be friends with.
Oh, for sure.
I just want, like, not, like, I feel like we could garden together.
He seems like a delight.
Watching, the one thing that, like, I thought, like, in this movie that kind of stood out to me this time is how much the dressing room scene is, like, I feel like that's one of the reasons why, like, teenage girls, like, in our day were like, yes, and found, like, liked this movie. Like, there's obviously other reasons, but I was sitting there and just watching the drama and the harrowing story that was going on there.
Like, it again has, like, aged poorly because it's, like, so 2004 that, like, calling yourself fat was, like, you know, the end-all be-all of insults. Or, like, I have cellulite. Like, that was, like, peak comedy, which is just, like, I think we today can just objectively be like, that's not really that creative or funny to talk about. But
like, when you're watching this as a 14-year-old girl...
To this day, I cannot go into a Marshall's dressing room without, like...
having
hyperventilating.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's the lights.
It's the full mirror lit up.
And
like, you know what I mean?
Why am I convinced that the mirrors are like a little bit convex to make you like look like not even bigger or smaller, but just like wider, disproportionate? Like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know that person. I'm trying to buy her jeans. Yeah. And I don't know who that is that I'm looking at. Like, I have no objective sense of self when I'm in, because I've also put on something that I will never ever wear in my day-to-day life. I'm like, maybe I should get it.
It's because it's the Marshalls and it's a deal.
You enter a different dimension.
Yeah.
Where like,
and then you're leaving there with some funky snack you've never had before. You know it's gonna taste like shit.
Marshalls specifically.
It's like Priyanka Chopra's like
pretzel brand.
Yeah.
I used to work in a Marshalls, and I specifically was so bad at talking to the people at the register that they put me in the back, like in the warehouse for the most part. So I like folded all the clothes, and, like put everything on the hangers and all that shit, and like unpacked.
That's Dissociation City.
Oh, yeah. Because especially you could wear headphones.
Nice.
So they'd be like, Dara, you haven't taken your break. You've been here for 10 hours. And I'd be like unpacking boxes like a fucking robot. But I was good at it because I liked that. Because I'm like, I don't have to talk to people. Hell yeah. I also, in the warehouse, got to set stuff aside if I wanted to buy it first before it went out on the floor.
That's dope.
They let us do that. And there was a system where you didn't have to pay for it. They just took it out of your paycheck.
Oh my gosh.
It was evil. It was evil to be putting me back there, being like, you get first pick of all the stuff that's coming in,
fucked.
The home goods shit. Oh my God, set it aside and be like, all right, so we're just not going to pay you for the next 3 weeks.
Literally.
You take all that home. It was fucked.
Especially you were like, what, 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Not okay.
No restraint.
Right? Like, so depressed.
Yeah.
No sense of self.
Yeah.
Just.
You're like, this light up palm tree will make me happy.
This is so off track, but a gross trigger warning for vomit, I guess, if you want to go through this. But I had a big night out drinking. Gin-based night out drinking.
That's always the worst.
And then I had to go into work at 6 a.m. to stock all of the Christmas stuff. It was like early November, so it was all the Christmas stuff was coming in. The candles, all of the pine-scented candles.
Jesus
and I was on a major gin hangover. I just threw up into one of the empty boxes and just broke it down and put it in with the rest of the trash and just kept on with my shift.
Oh my
Because I was like, I can't do this right now, but I also can't have all the people who are working here know that this is like, so I just did like a silent puke and I just took out all of the pine candles. And I was like, somebody else has to do this. Bad.
Would you say that's one of your worst pukes?
I'm gonna say it's one of my best pukes. I did it so sneakily at work. Nobody knew.
One of my worst pukes. We're getting so off track now, but it feels warranted. We're talking about white chicks. Yeah. I'll tell you about my best puke or my worst puke. It was, what was it? I was like a freshman in college. It was the first time I had ever had a Four Loko in my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, already bad. It's like a Thursday night or some shit like that.
You have an 8 a.m. lecture?
Yeah,
about like anthropology of the human skull, specifically. When are you? But it's like 3 of your prereqs.
Yeah, exactly. But so we go, I'm doing fine. And then we go and we get up. Mind you, I've been on campus for like a month now. I go, I'm like hanging out with some friends. We're in this dorm that I don't know. It is like the most insane shape I've ever seen. And once you walk out of the door, like, you don't know where you are. It is like fully like back rooms, basically.
A lot of dorm buildings are actually like structured very similarly to like prison cells to like cause confusion on purpose so there isn't rioting. It's the same like anti-riot like architecture. Yeah. They do that in colleges so that there's not like huge parties and congregations and stuff.
But so we're like were hanging out or whatever. Like, I think that, like, they were, like, all gonna go smoke or whatever. So they had gone to, like, roll. And I was hanging out, but this building didn't have, like, any, like, heat control.
So it was hot?
Yeah, it was hot. Oh. It was, like, late September, so it was still pretty warm outside, but it was, like, boiling in there. And I could just feel all the sugar coming up in my stomach. Oh. And my friends still give me shit about this puke to this day, because I was sitting there, I was like, I'll meet you guys out there, I just need to get outside. I walk out of the room, I don't know where I am. I have no idea. I'm on, like, the second or third floor, too, so I'd have to make it down 2 flights of stairs. I can't find the room that I was just in, because they all look the same. I just ended up having to pick a corner and throw up in it, and just walk away.
You just left?
And I just left, yeah.
Oh, some poor RA.
I know, exactly. Oh. I felt really bad about it. But
sometimes I get sad that I'm like, I didn't have, like, the traditional college experience. Like,
that's the traditional college
I never, like, really
experience.
lived in a dorm. I never, like, had friends. Yeah, and then I hear stories like that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm all set.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. My first Four Loko ever was I was in a Tesla. So I felt very luxurious. It was from a Wawa. We were, like, driving through, like, one of the southern states that has a Wawa, and they sell booze at the Wawa. So it was like, I was a passenger in a Tesla road trip, but we had to stop every, like, 2 hours to charge the fucking car.
That's crazy. That's the stupidest fucking shit in the world.
Yeah, we drove from Massachusetts to Florida in a Tesla. So we had to charge it we had to charge it for 2 hours every 2 hours.
That's so fucking
So it just took
stupid.
twice as long. And so I was just, like, in a Tesla with the window that just goes up to the whole ceiling. And I was like, we should, like, pound some Four Lokos, because that just, like, what the fuck else am I gonna do?
Did you just knock out?
In Georgia. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it also is an energy drink. I think I watched the movie Zodiac on my phone. After.
You know what, if you're gonna pound a Four Loko, that's a pretty good one.
It's kind of a trip, yeah.
That's like it'll calm my brain down enough that I can actually sit down and watch the movie. You know what I mean?
An energy drink calms your brain down,
but
that's not a good sign.
I don't think it's an energy drink anymore. I think they changed the formula or whatever.
Oh,
I think they're like not allowed to do that anymore.
Is illegal, probably.
Yeah,
because people
died.
Energy drink always does say, like, do not mix. Like, Red Bulls, the fact that you can go out and order a vodka Red Bull and they pick up the Red Bull and it says do not mix with alcohol, they're like, okay.
And then it's like 3 shots to, like, yeah.
Because that stuff is cough syrup, so it'll cover up any flavor.
Yeah, so it's like a 3-to-1 portion.
Rank nasty.
But anyways,
white chicks.
Busy Phillips was puking in this movie.
Oh,
so.
Busy Phillips, I would take a bullet in the fucking chest for Busy Phillips. She is just like the pinnacle of stardom to me. Like, the way Hollywood really did her dirty for a long time.
Horrible.
But she just is so good in everything she's in. I'm like, how did anyone ever turn their back on her? Because she delivers. Out of the Friends, the other 2 performances I found very forgettable.
Oh yeah.
But she was definitely also, like, the leader of the friend group.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think because she was blonde.
Probably.
I also like that they didn't ever mention her weight, like, which she wasn't, like, big, but she was definitely bigger than the other girls who were, like, emaciated level skinny. And I like that she was never the butt of any jokes about, like, because also, like, the skinny girls were also like, oh, I don't fit into these jeans, but they never were like, oh, our you know, size 4
big friend
are, like, size 4 rather than a size 0 friend.
Which would have been, like, so on brand for 2004.
In 2004, it's crazy to look at tabloids, the celebrities who they were calling, like, fat were, like, literally under a size 4. Like, just not Paris Hilton skinny is wild to think about, like, compared to today. I'm happy that we have progressed from that.
Thankfully.
It's still, you know, we've still got work to do, but I'm like, at least we're not being, like, Florence Pugh looks enormous because she has thighs. Like, no, thank you. The dance scene for me.
Classic.
That's when I was
That's the classic.
That's when I was fully like, I'm having a good time watching this movie.
I know. Oh my god. I think that was, like, my introduction to, like, Run DMC too.
Oh my god.
So it really changed me.
Did you not play? You didn't play SSX Tricky on the PlayStation?
No.
It's tricky to rock around, that's right on time, it's tricky! There was a snowboarding PlayStation video game, the real ones know, called SSX Tricky, and that was the theme song to it, and it just played that song on loop the entire time you were playing the game. So I could, like, semi-confidently get most of the words to that song.
Today.
And then I used to watch a it was like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but it was like a super spin-off budget, and it was called Run's House, and it was about the guys from Run DMC and like their families.
Brilliant.
Like living in fucking LA or whatever. I definitely like, got canceled after 3 seasons, but I owned all of them and definitely had them on my like little iPod Nano. Whack. Whack. But that dance scene was when this movie, I was like, you've hooked me.
Okay. Mind you, the dance scene happens, like, when there's maybe, like, 30 minutes left. So you're, like, an hour 10 into this or something like that.
Which is when I needed that zap. I needed that zest.
Exactly.
Which I'm also like, why do I feel like being in the club in 2004 and, like, doing a choreographed thing with your bitches would have felt like the coolest shit in the world?
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like learning a choreographed dance with your friends
humiliating
would be just the most embarrassing shit in the world. Like, okay, girls, in the off chance we get into a dance battle tonight, let's practice our arm tutting.
And who's the one that's, like, gonna step up and choreograph it?
That would break friend groups apart.
Literally.
Trying to choreograph a 30-second long...
These, like 3 fragile white girls could never.
Their egos would be shattered.
Yeah, no chance.
How do you pick a leader? You don't. You
can't.
You fight to the death.
Exactly. This is the animal kingdom.
I liked, though, that also there was no question that it was completely choreographed.
Oh, yeah.
They did not try to play it off as, like, these girls are really just happening to move in sync. Absolutely not. It's like, no, they have practiced.
Yeah.
These exact show choir-esque, like, lame-ass white people dance moves.
They knew this would happen eventually. And it's just, like, this is the choreography from, like, 2 years ago. They haven't updated it yet, and they're, like, kind of in their head, they're like, fuck, I hope this still looks good.
They're, like, looking around at the audience to see, like, are these the same people?
Yeah, right.
Who were here last time?
Yeah.
You want to talk about mothers! It's my mother, Jen. She's here not to be slandered, but to be celebrated for hosting her interim podcast segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. She says 2 things. We're all going to say which one we like better. Jen, how are you today?
I am pretty good. How are you guys?
Not too bad.
Stellar.
Nice.
Is there a theme this week?
I was starving when I wrote this, so I did food.
Food. We love it.
All right, so chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Fanta orange soda or Fanta grape soda?
Orange. I can't get behind the grape.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for orange too. Grape every now and then, but they have like so many flavors now. It's
pineapple. When you go to the machines where you like do it yourself.
Love it.
Why do I feel, you know how there's like a distinct difference between soda from a can versus a bottle versus like a machine from a restaurant or whatever versus like the machine you do it, you're like entirely different experiences across the board.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like those ones where you like do the touchscreen shit, it's always kind of mid. Like, I feel like...
Well, it's because they don't, like, it's just all, like, the flavor pack. It's not like it's, like, you know how it's, like, if you're gonna get, like, vanilla Coke or whatever, like, from a fountain, it's usually already, like, the pre-made, like, vanilla Coke, because they, like, have it in it.
I guess this is just syrups.
This is just different syrups, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm. So it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think movie theater soda is awful, and I love soda. But I'm going to say Fanta Orange, too. When I was a little kid, we went to this pizza place every once in a while, and you could pick whether you wanted Coke or Fanta Orange, but it was always in a bottle. And that was, like, the big decision. Were you going to get a Coke or an orange soda?
That's serious.
So next one, square pizza or round pizza?
Round pizza, because I feel like the square pizza is always a party pizza sitch, and... I like crust. I want there to be a little crust, especially like for grip, you know, situations. If the sad middle piece that's always like so oily
Soggy.
and just like upsetting is a square pizza. I feel like when I make pizza at my house, actually, I do cut it in a square, but it's like pretty small because there's still crust on all sides, you know?
Yeah.
But,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, circular pizza for fucking sure.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a square pizza that could even like stand up to a circular pizza.
Because also the crust pieces are like 50% crust and 50% pizza, and you're like, do I have to pick between that or like a crustless, soggy mess?
Yeah.
It's too extreme.
Agree with everything you guys just said. It's round pizza for sure. Next one, creamy peanut butter or chunky peanut butter?
I swing both ways. But I feel like I will just instinctively buy creamy, just like straight up like Jif creamy, like normal. But I do like the grocery store I go to has like a fucking machine that's full of like nuts, and you like crank a lever and it like churns the peanut butter for you like into a, you know how you can like grind your...
What fucking grocery store are you going to?
Big Y.
What the fuck?
Like, you know how there used to be like coffee grounds? You would like grind your own coffee into the bag, like back
yeah,
in
it's
the
just
day.
the same thing.
It's like that with
Pre-COVID,
peanut butter,
yeah.
and that definitely comes out like a little chunky.
That's wild.
Which I feel like also the peanut butter that's not fucked and doesn't have all the like artificial sweeteners and stuff is like, you know, because the oil separates and stuff.
Yeah.
It's usually also chunky. So I'm gonna stand on a moral high ground and say chunky.
I'm gonna stay true to my young self and say smooth. It's like there's just nothing better too than like going. It's late night. You just want like a little something, not even a snack, just a little
spoon.
something. Just a big glob of just a big glob of smooth peanut butter on a spoon. It's like a baby with its bottle. You know what I mean? Just me suckling on this peanut butter spoon.
It's like people who complain that they grew up in ingredient households where like there's no snacks.
That was me.
So I'm just like eating peanut butter with a spoon, like sprinkling a few chocolate chips on top for good
my
measure.
My go-to was always chocolate chips.
Yep.
Yeah, I just have a handful.
I'm gonna go chunky peanut butter. We were not an ingredient household. We were snack city.
Actually, there were no ingredients. There were only snacks. An Oreo cakester for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, baby.
No, that's not true. But like, I can remember making your lunches and being like 3 snacks in this one, 3 snacks in this one.
Amazing.
Good to go. All right, next one is Snickers or Twix.
Twix. Undoubtedly Twix. Snickers is a bottom of the barrel option when you're like, I am so desperately hungry that I need there to be like protein in this candy bar or else I'm gonna die. That's the only scenario in which I'm picking a Snickers.
Yeah. Are you a Three Musketeers over a Snickers?
Not really. Three Musketeers, I used to like it a lot
That's
as a
bottom of the
kid.
barrel for me.
Yeah, it's just whipped chocolate. People say it's nougat. It's not even fucking nougat. It's just air and chocolate.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Twix, absolutely Twix. I will buy a Twix of my own volition. You will hardly ever catch me dead buying a Snickers.
Oh, see, I'm gonna agree with you guys that Three Musketeers is trash, but I love Snickers bars, so I'm gonna take a Snickers. Next one, chicken and waffles or steak and eggs?
I feel like chicken and waffles is something I would only ever order at a restaurant. Like, I don't think I would go out of my way to make it at home, but I feel like every time I make steak, I want an egg on it. Or like every time I'm having steak in a breakfast context, I'm definitely doing like a steak egg thing. So I just think consistency. I'll pick steak and eggs.
See, I think just the thing that gets me more excited is chicken and waffles. So I'm gonna go for the chicken and waffles.
I know, I feel like these are 2 things I have never ordered out, like, but I will take steak and eggs. Even though when people get chicken and waffles, it looks delicious. Pad Thai or spaghetti and meatballs?
Unpopular opinion, but I don't fuck with like peanut in a savory context. Like I don't like pad thai because I'm not into like peanut flavor being also with like shrimp. Like that's just not chill to me. So what was my other option?
Spaghetti meatballs.
Oh, sure. Well,
I'm gonna go with pad thai on this one because I don't know, spaghetti. As much as like spaghetti and meatballs is like everyone's comfort food and everything like that, it just never appealed to. It never appealed to me like that.
to me,
It's fine.
I don't really fuck with meatballs.
Me neither.
They're always a little dry and like even I don't know.
I'd rather have a meatloaf.
I see that's where you lose me. I would rather have a baked ziti, meatless. Like just take the meat out of the equation, put the pasta in with some ricotta, and put it in the oven for an hour.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pad thai. I love pad thai. Next one is carrots dipped in ranch or cucumbers dipped in hummus.
I'll pick the carrots and the ranch because I feel like ranch is like I'm never gonna get tired of it. Whereas it's like the cucumbers and the hummus, like after a while, it's like I have stopped tricking my brain into thinking that this isn't just like a healthy snack. You know, carrots and ranch, there's a little There's a little something to it. Cucumbers and hummus is like, I'm trying to make a healthy choice right now. Ugh.
Substituting for chips and dip.
Yeah, right.
I don't really love carrots. I love ranch, but I don't really love carrots. But I am a big cucumber guy, and I can fuck with a hummus, so cucumbers and hummus.
Yeah, same thing. I love hummus. Cucumbers are wicked good right now, too.
Oh, yeah, it's their season.
Next one, arancini or bruschetta?
Ooh. I love arancini, but you also always run the risk of there being peas in it, because I feel like a pretty standard arancini does have, like, peas in it, and we genetically do not fuck with peas in the Shanahan lineage.
That is correct.
So, but I will pick arancini still, though, because... What is it? Burrata is just like
Bruschetta.
Bruschetta. See, I don't fuck with, like, big slices of tomato like that. So, definitely...
I feel like it's usually gonna cut up a little bit.
You're offering me something fried versus something not fried. A fried ball of risotto, you're really gonna have to put something good against that for me to turn my back on her.
See, I like bruschetta because I can have 6 pieces and keep going. I can have maybe 2 arancini, and that's it.
I like it when they're fucking huge.
It's so heavy, dude. It's too much.
Cut 'em.
So, yeah, and plus I like to make a good bruschetta on my own, so I'll say bruschetta.
I'm going to go with the arancini, but I don't feel like I have ever thought that they were associated with peas.
Really? I feel like all the time at an Italian restaurant, it's like arancini risotto, like with peas.
Oh.
Maybe that's just... Maybe, what is like the Mandela effect? Maybe I've Mandela affected myself into thinking that this is something true. Sound off in the comments below if you have an opinion.
Okay, last one, but I forgot to do chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry.
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
I'm going to go with strawberry. Granny Smith apple, Macintosh apple, Red Delicious apple.
Granny Smith. 'Cause
always.
it's never going to let me down. Like, I feel like a Red Delicious almost always is a little bit mealy. A little bit gross. And a Macintosh can, like, you know, speaking of seasonal vegetables or whatever,
it really
like
toes the line.
whether it's like good or not, and it's like hard to tell. I don't think a green apple across the board is just always pretty
good.
safe.
Yep. That's like the one apple that I will buy for myself. I fucking love a Granny Smith.
I knew you guys were going to say that because I feel like we've had the apple conversation before, but I don't think Red Delicious are mealy. I think Macintosh can get mealy, but I'm going to go with Red Delicious.
See, that is like one of the worst apples.
Yeah, that is...
Disagree. Agree to disagree.
Well, thank you, Jen, for bringing up some controversial yet very brave debates today. Thank you as always, and we'll see you next week.
All right. I love you guys. Have an awesome night.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Speaking of reality TV, though, I feel like the end scene with the big, like, runway scene where they all do the fashion show was really giving me, like, one of those runways on America's Next Top Model that Tyra Banks would do something to traumatize the fuck out of those girls. She'd be like, okay, you have to get a twin of yourself, and then also you don't know which one is your twin, and you're gonna walk in different outfits, but if you fuck it up, we're gonna execute you on site. And also a giant dragon on poles is gonna slither through you while you try to sell this outfit. Go. And also you're in stilts.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly right.
Were you an America's Next Top Model girly?
I watched it, like, through my sister, almost. So I've seen it, and I know, like, it's fucked, and, like, I remember, like, watching a good bit of it, but I wasn't, like, really in it. I was more into, like, Project Runway.
Yeah, which was, like, had some merit to it, because it was, like, people making stuff. America's Next Top Model was just pure entertainment. But they'd be like, so we're walking through an active war zone, and if you get shot while trying to sell this Gucci dress, you're out of the competition. And also, you're wearing no shoes and walking on glass.
Oh my god.
And then Tyra Banks would be like, you're a size 2, you're too fat to be on this show. And they were like, we're gonna include plus size girls this season, and it just meant like size 4. Whack as fuck.
No, I didn't watch a whole lot of that. I watched the Tyra show.
Oh my god. She was kind of like Wendy Williams, but like a different flavor.
Yeah, and not as funny.
Yeah, like a less funny Wendy Williams.
I miss Wendy.
Love.
I love the fucking video of her that's saying, like, she's, like, crying in the car, and she's like...
I don't respect anyone's privacy.
She's like, I would tell you to respect my privacy, but I don't respect anyone's privacy. That's how I do my show. And she like, strikes a fucking pose.
She's too real for that.
Icon. That's a fucking icon.
Wendy, if you want to come on the pod.
Yeah, Wendy Williams. Please come on the pod. I will say one of my favorite things about this movie, like, it's like, you know, do you ever have just that small detail that just tickles you so much?
Yeah, what is it for you?
So it was in the middle of Busy Phillips, like, talking about the guy that keeps, like, just using her as a booty call.
But it seems like they don't even fuck. It seems like they just make eye contact from across the room.
Yeah, like, they fucked once. But she's getting her hair braided by one of the guys, and then, like, and they go, and it's like, they're maybe, like, a quarter of the way through her head, and then once she finishes the speech, her entire head is braided.
Which I would like to think that it's not, like, a continuity error thing, that was a fully intentional.
That was, like, the thing that really, like, just fucking cracked me up this watch.
The thing that really got me for some reason was the two FBI agents, because all the other FBI agents are playing the hotel staff, like, they're actually undercover, and they don't know that their two coworkers are pretending to be these girls. But there's two of them who just, like, every cutaway, it's them, like, one of them will say, like, would you rather fuck, like, X or X? And it's either, like, two, like, quote-unquote, like, gross people or two, like, hot people. But one of them, he's, like, Pamela Anderson or, like, somebody else. But they both have yeast infections. And the punchline is, though, is that whatever the other one answers, he always is like, that's fucked up. Like, that's so fucked up. Why do I feel like that's a real thing that men do?
Probably.
Like, oh, would you rather fuck, like, Obama or Joe Biden? They're like, Joe Biden. They're like, ew, man, that's so fucked up.
I like that his last one was Whoopi Goldberg or RuPaul.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good one.
True.
That's honestly a good one.
But they both have yeast infections. I used to, like, really, when I was, like, a little bit too drunk at parties, really like to get up on, like, straight men about, like, because I don't know if I would say I still will die on this hill, but I think everyone is at least a tiny fraction of a percent gay. In some universe, there's some version of you that would be attracted to the same sex. Like, like I just don't understand how anyone could die on the hill that they are, like, end all be all, no exceptions. Like, I just think that there's too much of a spectrum for that, and, like, you just, people change and people grow. I don't know, you just can't say that about yourself, I don't think. But I used to, like, really, like, bro straight guys at parties. I used to be like, the man who is gonna give you the most sloppiest top. Oh yeah,
I remember. I've been with you when you've done this. It's honestly really fun.
This man is.
I want, if anyone's out there that just.
This is how to make straight men uncomfortable.
Yeah, please do this.
It's like a man that you would consider to be conventionally attractive, even though I know you as a straight man are never gonna say that you find another guy hot, but, like, you find him at least pleasing to aesthetically, you know, he's an Abercrombie model, he's whatever. Yeah. He's gonna give you scientifically proven to be the best head of your life, or from a girl in it, it's gonna be toothy and bad and just, like, not pleasant. And they always pick the bad head from the girl. They're like, oh, but that's gay. And I'm like, you would not sacrifice for what you would be magically induced the best thing of your life. You would not take that out of fear of it. The one answer that I did respect is he's like, well, if it was from Tiger Woods, I'd take it because I respect him too much to say no. And I'm like, that is such a bro-y answer, but honestly, like, I'll take it. He's like, I don't need to find him hot, I just need to respect him. Yeah. And I was like,
it's this weird thing of, like, for some reason, straight guys are, like, scared of, like, too much pleasure. Like, the amount of guys that I've talked to that are like, you're fucked up if you, like, as a man, use, like...
You have a thing in your butt that's supposed to feel good.
Yeah. Or, like, they're like if you're a guy and you're using, like, sex toys, or, like, if you get yourself a fleshlight, like, you're... That's gross. Like, that's gross and, like...
perverted.
Not even perverted, like, unhinged and, like, you know what, like, you need something. What's the word? What's
like, desperate?
not desperate. I don't know what the word. I can't think of the word.
But it's not, because if they sell
not.
it,
Well,
they have them at Target, bro.
Yeah.
It is so destigmatized that you can get one at Target. You
But
shouldn't feel guilty about buying
crazy.
anything.
It's like, why would you not
do that?
Why would you not, like, if I know that I can have a good time doing something,
why wouldn't it be better?
Yeah, this goes for, like, anything.
It's like French fries, and French fries are good, but then they tell you that they can come fully loaded.
Exactly.
You can get cheese and bacon on them,
Why
too.
would I not?
And it's like an extra $1, but it's an option.
It's the exact same thing.
That's like saying I would never put cheese on my French fries.
Literally.
Like, I just don't know why you gotta be so absolute about it.
Like, I'm at the store, and, like, I know that I need to, like, grab, like, herbs or some shit for, like, this pasta that I'm making. Just the smallest thing. It's literally just the smallest thing. And I can either buy dry herbs
or fresh
like
herbs.
or the dry herbs that I have at my house, or I can just buy a bunch of cilantro. You know what I mean? Why would I not buy the cilantro? It's 98 cents.
If you're going to Tinder for pussy, for mid pussy, why wouldn't you just buy one at the store that's even better?
Do you know how many bad decisions that could, like, save you from?
So true. Yeah, maybe we need to start a campaign to destigmatize sex toys for men, because
absolutely
maybe that'll, like, decrease, like, violence rates, actually.
100%. Well, it's because people, like, say that, like, that's, like, an incel thing. Like, if you're going and, like, you're getting, like, a sex toy, like, so that you don't have to go out and get pussy, that's very incel of you.
Which it just isn't true.
Not true.
I also don't think anyone would ever say that about a woman.
No.
Like,
well, it's because, like, quote unquote, it's, like, harder for women.
Right.
But it's, like...
You're just incompetent.
It's, like, you just don't know, like, human anatomy. And that's fine. It's not fine, but that's fine for you. You don't ever have to please a woman.
This is me, like, hard pivoting, trying to circle this back to white chicks. But I feel like, I don't know, on the topic of, like, straight men and sexuality and stuff, I also do feel like the glorification of, like, the guy's girl. Mm-hmm. This movie does it in a really hyper-specific way, where it is specifically the white chick that Terry Crews is into, and he's kind of, like, picking up on some more masculine behaviors of hers, but is finding them hot because it's coming from, like, a hot white girl. So it's like, she eats a lot and she burps, and that's supposed to be, like, him acting to try to, like, ward him off, but Terry Crews is like, oh no, I meant to, or, like, she throws a football really hard, right? But that's, like, like, guys girl things that I feel like guys are like, oh, like, she's hot because she drinks beer. She's, like, a guy's girl.
But also, if a girl ever farted in front of a guy that they had known for, like, less than a week, he would probably ghost her.
But I feel like, is this some sort of, like, repressed, like, internalized homophobia that, like, men don't want to recognize that they find, like, traditionally masculine traits to be attractive, so they covered up by being like, oh, she's just a guy's girl, though, you know?
Probably.
Like you wouldn't say that you find, like, hyper feminine things attractive. You wouldn't say, like, oh, I'm really into girls or whatever, you know? So I felt like I was noticing that in this movie of, like, a girl who eats a big steak. Not that, like, eating a big steak is inherently feminine or masculine, but they're like, she knows how to throw a football, and she's just one of the guys, and that's so hot.
Yeah.
Like, is that, I'm like, maybe you should just admit that, like, maybe you want to date your bros.
Yeah.
And that's okay,
you can say
too,
that Brad is hot.
Right? Like,
it's okay.
But it's like, you find it hot when she throws a football because she's a girl, but you don't find it hot when your bros throw a football because you're not into men like that. Like, maybe you should, like, go to therapy and think about that. I don't know. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But do we want to get into our regularly scheduled programming?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though we've hardly talked about this movie, but
there's
that's
really
okay.
not much to say about it.
It's
like,
tricky to rock around. Also, when he tries to roofie her, but then roofies himself, and then is raving. Also aged poorly, but I, like, these jokes are written in a way that I'm like, I still laughed when he's, like, rave dancing by himself. Hilarious.
I would love to dance with Terry Crews like that.
The other guy who's on the roofie just sits there and holds the dog while everyone's doing the dance battle. I'm like, that's who I want to be at the party.
Yeah.
I want to be by myself in the booth with the Pomeranian.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
but fuck, marry, kill. I'd say it's...
Can we make the white chicks can we conglomerate them into one person, but you have to either fuck, marry, or kill them both, but it's just one choice?
Sure.
So it's either...
Yeah.
Is it them as men or them in drag? Or is that all just also one choice? Like, what's the situation here?
This is tough. I don't know. I'd say them in drag.
So them...
That's how they are most of the movie.
Them as the white chicks, and then who are the other two?
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews and, like, Busy Phillips? Or the...
Yeah.
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 Screen time-wise, I guess. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm obviously gonna... Marry Terry Crews.
Yeah.
I'll fuck Busy Phillips, and I'll kill the white chicks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, there's not much to say with that one.
But if it's between them as FBI agents or them in drag, I'm definitely killing them as FBI agents and fucking / marrying them in drag.
Yeah.
Like, they also just were more fun when they were being women.
It's funny. That fucking laugh that they had.
I like that laugh.
But so...
And from the whole movie, I'm gonna fucking save Marcus's wife from her sad relationship where she's just constantly getting gaslit and told that she's crazy.
Are you gonna marry her?
I'm gonna save her from her marriage for sure. And then I'll fuck
I'm gonna marry the reporter.
Okay, hot.
I'm gonna marry the reporter, because she has, like, a little bit of sensibility about her.
Yep.
I'm gonna fuck, was it Marcus, or was it,
The one with the wife is Marcus.
Was it?
Yeah, because I wrote down, I want to save Marcus's wife from her gaslighty relationship.
Yeah. I'm gonna, fuck Marcus's wife, and then I'm gonna... I'm gonna kill the guy that gave
Terry Crews the roofie.
Roofies.
That's what I was gonna say too. Yeah, or the other two, like, blonde twin girls. Yeah. Kill them too.
It's really whatever.
Kill everyone.
Yeah.
Bomb strikes. Airstrikes. Bomb them all.
Oh yeah. And so you're not 13 anymore. You're 24 years old. And you're having your girls over. You're gonna put on white chicks.
Yep.
What are you eating and drinking?
So I feel like my movie follow-up choice and my drinks are all obviously crafted around the ultimate sleepover vibe.
Okay.
Right? Because this movie can only really be watched like you're halfway through a sleepover, you're not really paying attention, you're like maybe doing like a board game or like painting your nails or like something else at the sleepover, but it's on and it's just in a string of just sleepover genred movies.
Yeah.
And so I think you drink what is just the whitest, womanist drink, and that's just a Cosmo. Also, don't they go to the Cosmo party or something? I don't know. But you do it the way the Barefoot Contessa makes a Cosmo, which is that instead of cranberry juice, you use pomegranate juice. Which pomegranate juice is just like a little bit better than cranberry juice.
It's true.
It's more expensive too, but do what Ina Garten would say.
Yeah. Smart.
And then I combined, so they order appletinis at one point. That's like a big, the roofing of the appletinis. And at the very beginning, there's the whole vanilla ice cream mix-up. So I'm saying you make an apple crisp because to me, this sleepover is happening like, it's not soon enough to watch Halloween movies, but it's still like, it's the end of the school year is about to start. It's like, it's September. We're maybe getting into the fall. So you do an apple crisp because those are just two ingredients that they
I like that.
Talk about in the movie.
I can get behind that. I want an apple cider donut now.
Hot off the press.
I'm gonna say, I was going the same route, where obviously you're gonna serve like the little white girl drinks.
Yep.
What's more white girl drink than a fucking vodka cran?
Vodka cran.
Keep it simple. And then there's this big scene where and they're at kind of like the opening party or whatever.
The hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, yes, and they're
the quiche.
They're serving hors d'oeuvres. And yeah, it turns into a whole thing of like Marcus ends up like almost shitting himself basically, which is like such stupid humor but still funny. I'm still laughing at the heinous farts.
I'm laughing at a poop joke, and I think it's the way his feet are buckling under. Because that's I can relate when you're shitting in a public bathroom and you're like, my feet look crazy right now. I'm like, I had to take off my socks for some reason. I'm like at the rest stop.
Yeah. But I didn't want to go the traditional thing. You can do mini quiches if you want. I said a spinach puff.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Spanakopita?
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Love it. Mm-hmm. And then this is like the most just fucking softball of an answer, but Mean Girls.
That's what you're following.
You watch Mean Girls next. That's the whole time I was watching this, I was like, love Mean Girls. Like,
it doesn't do it for me.
Same year, exact same vibe of like, I think it took me probably until I was like 18 to like sit down and watch Mean Girls beginning to end. It's just on at every fucking all-girl hangout from ages 12 to 20. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, so this is a movie that came out recently that has the same sort of vibe as an early 2000s movie-ish.
Okay.
It's the new Jennifer Lawrence movie called No Hard Feelings.
Did you watch it?
Yes. Loved it.
I wanted to see it in the theater because I was interested in the whole, like, there are no more rom-coms, like, argument that people are making, or like that movies aren't the same, like comedy movies aren't the same as they were in the early 2000s, and a lot of people are like, yes they are, you're just not seeing them. So I'll have to give it a watch. I know she has a full pussy out scene.
Fight scene. She suplexes someone.
The only thing on my Twitter feed about it was like Jennifer Lawrence pussy out suplexing someone on the beach, and I was like, you know what, I might be here for this.
It was I really liked that movie, and it was just one of those, when a role is like written for someone.
Yep.
And this was one of those ones for her, and I think that's why it was so good. And the her co-star, I can't remember his name right now, he was also brilliant.
He like deferred his enrollment at Harvard to do that movie.
I love it.
Which I'm like, right choice.
Truly.
Like, sorry, bro. I know we were meant to be roommates this year, but I gotta back out. You gotta find someone else to live in the dorm with you. I have to go star alongside Jennifer Lawrence in a rom-com.
Yeah. He also has this beautiful cover of Maneater.
Oh, really? In the movie?
Yes.
I'll have to watch it.
It's amazing. But yeah, so I think that's what you're gonna watch afterwards. And out of 10, I'm gonna give this movie a 5.
5.
Solid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, before yesterday, I would have predicted that I was going to be going into this with a 3 energy, but I was quite tickled.
Yeah.
I was as tickled as I was, what's the opposite of tickled? Like, pinched? Or like, like razor burn? Like, what's like a physical tactile sensation that's kind of icky? Like,
sticky? I don't know. I was tickled and then I was sticky.
She tickle on my sticky toe. Nope, absolutely not. Well, as you can see, we're scraping the sides of the barrel this month for this hyper-specific theme.
Yeah, please, if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to write into us on Instagram, Discord, Twitter, TikTok.
There's also, if you're listening...
Literally email us.
Every week we put our email in the description, which is wild. Like, I would love it if you wrote us an email. But also, if you're listening on Spotify, there's a little Q&A button that you can just hit. And the question, if you scroll down at the bottom, it just says, like, what movie do you think we should cover next? So you can just tap it and you can type right in there. And I get to see all your lovely answers. So we would love to hear from you. Also, maybe we'll ditch the theme in the next 2 weeks. We'll just fucking if you have a really great suggestion, maybe we'll hard pivot. But we love you.
Change our minds.
We love you all. Also, if you're interested in watching this as a video episode, or if you want to get some bonus content, there are 2 episodes from last month, and we are going to put out another bonus episode for this month, which is on theme, maybe. Like, arguably. Like, definitely some faces are getting swapped, if you know what I mean. But so if you want to check out our bonus content, it's $2.86 a month, my bro. It's a Patreon. But also you can watch these as videos if you want to know what we look like. If you want to see us in our matching sweaters today.
Dara had these made for us.
Matching swamp. Yeah, before we had actual merch, which is also something you can find in the description below. Merch. We love you all. Thank you for listening, and goodbye and good night.